Nearly everyone agrees that Obamacare didn't fix healthcare nearly enough. It at best fixed half of the problems with healthcare, such as pre-existing conditions, affordability of health plans, the prevented emergencies, and the cost of emergency room visits spread out to the rest of the paying customers with the individual mandate. The Republicans, of course, said it was the worst thing ever, even though it was 100% their idea, and the conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, just because Obama signed his name to it, but it was so much less than what he promised and what we all hoped for. Everyone was calling for single payer or at least public option, but we didn't get that. Most of us on the left blamed it on Republicans refusing to work with Obama, but there was something more to it, and it most likely came down to the recession. The economy Obama ran on and the economy he inherited were two completely different animals. While running, we had a pretty stable economy that was becoming more and more volatile and making people nervous. By the time he was sworn in, the economy was hemorrhaging jobs left and right, and the stock market was in free fall. One of the biggest facts about the US health sector is that we spend nearly twice as much on healthcare as many nations in Europe with slightly worse healthcare. This is all due to the fact that A, there is no economy of scale to bring prices down through very low overhead like other nations. B, there is the for-profit motive in insurance and hospitals that get skimmed off to give to shareholders. And C, our Medicare does not have the power to negotiate down prices for drugs, hospitals, and medical equipment like all other foreign nations can, because as the government is creating new customers, these companies now have an influx of many more customers, which means they should be able to make more of their products cheaper thanks to the economies of scale. Instead, with this money paying for it, they just continually increase their prices, and Medicare has to increase what it pays every year, threatening its very existence. Because of this, nearly half the money spent is wasted on middlemen, not on helping people. However, this is the entire catch-22 that our society now only provides good middle-class jobs, with the exception of nurses, programmers, engineers, and a few others, to middlemen who can help to extract wealth from poor and middle-class people and give it to wealthy people. The healthcare industry employs around 9 to 10% of all Americans. Had Obama fixed the healthcare system and killed these inefficiencies, on top of the horrible job rates we had, the economy could have shed 1 to 4% more good-paying middle-class jobs really quickly, making the recession much worse. With the Obama government just doing everything it could to prevent a depression and get us out of the recession, it decided to go with the Heritage Foundation's plan that would just slow the rise of skyrocketing cost of healthcare and build a system that things like public option through Medicare for all and giving Medicare the power to negotiate prices and repealing of Nixon-era laws preventing hospitals from competing could easily be added onto it when the economy could better take the shock of such a huge economic restructuring. Sadly, one of Obama's biggest weaknesses was his inability to explain these sorts of things to the American people, and many people were highly disillusioned with him, causing us to lose the House and states badly in 2010, allowing them to gerrymander the states so badly, thanks to new technology, that while the majority of Americans voted liberal for House seats, the Republicans retained the House. There are nearly 16 to 17 estimated seats that should be Democrat that were lost to Republicans by gerrymandering. Without any political help from Congress, Obama didn't have enough political will to move forward and make better changes to healthcare as the economy improved. It would have required some of the biggest overhauls of our economy ever seen, such as massively increased minimum wage, free education to help re-educate many of the people who lost their jobs in the medical industry overhaul, which would have also killed a lot of good-paying jobs in student loan and student grant means testing programs, and without enough support in Congress, that just wasn't going to happen at all. This also may explain why he really didn't scale back on the war as much as people would have liked. The military-industrial complex also makes some really good-paying jobs, and bringing everyone home and not replacing it with drone strike program would have made the recession even worse. He got us out of a recession, but at what cost? Hope and change was what he ran on, expecting a good economy. He got an economy spiraling out of control with a GOP that literally sat on their hands and refused to help him at all. The best he could offer was a slow, gradual change, doing as little as possible to change the status quo, with ways to change things quite massively when things got better economically. But we won't get that till at least 2018 or 2020, only if people go out and vote in the midterms, and sweep the state's government of the gerrymandering GOP.